Hello, Aries. Welcome to your bonus October 2025 tarot reading. We're going to open up the energy of the reading today with the Scarab Beetle Spirit. Wow, this one says, magic works through you. This is awesome. I feel like this is really a good omen that says everything that you apply yourself to this month should be coming to fruition. It should be bearing fruit. It should be transforming, into the results that you're looking for. Let's put that card into a little bit of context. I love that. The Scarab Beetle Spirit. Magic is working through you right now, Aries. You got the Knight of Pentacles. There's your Aries card. I knew it was going to be there. You are magic right now. Claim that right now. Five of Pentacles. A Six of Cups, the World card. And the Chariot. Very, very good. Yes, you've got a lot of really strong energy. We have an Ace of Wands, King of Swords, a King of Wands, and a Ten of Swords. Interesting, get that Ten of Swords in there too, yeah? Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. We're going to set it down right here with our little Tibetan prayer wheel right there on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together, and it will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card might be, put your prediction in the comments down beneath the video, all right? Now, as we look around the room, we see major arcana cards. We've got fire and fire. We've got water, good water over here. We've got air. Some air cards, and we have a couple of earth cards. It's fairly balanced. I'd say there's a nice balance to things. You probably are feeling a little bit of that balance in your life. I think when everything is balanced, I think that magic really is working through us in a good way. Your heart, your mind, your body, your soul, everything feels like it's kind of working in harmony. Your Knight of Pentacles, to start us off, is sticking to your plan. Right, your persistence right now is what's bringing you the results. No shortcuts. You are using your integrity. Your momentum, right, is building. Okay, and your integrity is kind of keeping that momentum going strong. Yeah. This is a good month for you to make sure you pay attention to your body. Pay attention to your health, your routine, and stay accountable to yourself for that. Especially as magic is working through you. You don't want the wire to get frayed. You don't want to blow a fuse. You know what I mean? Thinking of that spiritual electrical circuit of creation. If magic is flowing through you, you have to be a good vessel. You have to be a healthy, strong, and clear channel for that magic. Okay? So focus on health, have good routines, and that sort of thing. This month, try to finish. I know the month is almost over. Make sure that you've been finishing anything that you've been starting. Okay, this month, let's really work on finishing those tasks before we move on to whatever's next. Okay? Eat well, move your body, get good rest. Your body is the engine. Your body is like your body's the wire, the transmitter, the conductor of that magical current. Okay? Expect progress. And this month, your consistency has been building a lasting success. Now, the Knight of Pentacles is also looking out at the future and seeing who you are, where you are, and what you're doing down the road. Having that vision of the future and then letting that magic work its way through you is going to create that future. You're creating your world. But you have to have that vision. You have to know what it is that you're creating. So this card is also, being able to see the details of what you're doing. You have to know what you want. You've got to see it, and you gotta like dream in high definition. You got to do the 4K kind of thing where you can see the bubbles on the wallpaper. You can see the pores on someone's face. You've got to really know the details of what you're putting together. because that whatever you're visualizing, that's going to manifest. If your picture of your future is kind of fuzzy, it's going to manifest kind of fuzzy. You want it to be crystal clear, because that's going to manifest. So the better you are at visualizing, the better you are at sort of having that vision and seeing the world that you want and that you're creating, I think the more likely it is to really show up that way. All right. Now, we also have an Emperor energy here, which is your superpower card. This is you, okay, trying to hold this whole thing together. This is you trying to be the best vessel that you can be for this magical current. The Emperor is the fortified ego. The Emperor is the pilot of the ship. You're the one that's steering the chariot of your body, right? But this magical current is flowing through you. In other words, the ego is the facilitator, not the doer. The ego is the pilot of the ship, the one who has their hands on the wheel, left turn, right turn, 5-degree down bubble. But spirit, or higher self, true self, universe, whatever, is the actual, captain of the boat, Us, as egos, we're just the ones who are, taking the orders from above and, making the move, turning the wheel, right? The Emperor card, anyway. Make a schedule, stick to it. Discipline, confidence, structure. Tackle anything that's been overdue. Again, that Knight of Pentacles. As this month heads to a close, make sure that you are finishing up any last-minute things, especially things that are kind of overdue. Let's close the month out real strong so that next month begins fresh and clean, okay? So finish up the paperwork, close out those tasks. Maybe think about setting a new boundary right now that's going to help protect your time. Setting a limit for yourself. Put a limit on your phone or a limit on the TV or something like that, right? Make a rule for yourself that's going to help to protect what you're doing and what you're building, because you have to be disciplined if you're going to let that magic flow through you. If it's going to work through you like that, you need to, the Emperor the fortified ego, right, has to be willing to accept a little bit of law and order, okay? And this is the law and order card, right? So we can make rules for ourselves that are going to help us to get what we want and what we need. As this month closes out, clean your workspace, organize your desk, organize your life, organize wherever it is that you do your work, your magic. Clean and organize. Okay, that's going to help our mental space. Yeah. In your decisions and in your life right now, and how you're steering your chariot, speak with authority, but stay calm. Okay, power doesn't need, volume. We don't have to be loud. We can. And sometimes it's even sometimes our power really comes through, our strength really shows when we whisper. Sometimes I whisper to my daughter when she's 5. When she's not listening to me, instead of getting louder, I get quieter. I say, we really need to get in the car now. It's important that we get our shoes on. And she'll say, what? And she'll have to quiet down so she can hear what I'm saying. And sometimes it's literally like I can hear my mom, she's just saying, get in the car, And that's when you really get scared. Like, okay, I'm getting in the car. But that's kind of the idea, that you can express yourself in a way that is commanding and authoritative. You don't have to just be loud and abrasive about it, okay? Take ownership right now, especially of finances. Take responsibility for things that we kind of need to close out before month's end, anything that we've been avoiding, or anything, especially in the terms of the finances. Let's make sure that we end the month as close to the budget as we can. Yeah. Discipline equals freedom here in a lot of ways. All right. Now, going under the surface here, we have our 5 of Pentacles. And this is usually some worry about some some financial stuff. Okay, so there is to me a financial component to this. It does have to do with money. Okay, and sometimes the Five of Pentacles is a kind of a change in the money situation. There's been and maybe this is kind of saying like we're trying to stay on budget, but there's a little bit of difficulty there. One thing I want to do first, though, let's do a manifestation oracle card. We have the lunar magic. Connect with natural cycles of the moon to attract what you want. I sync with nature. Okay? Interesting there. Syncing with nature. And those kinds of, those lunar tides, right? It might be one. It might be really a message that you've got to connect with your intuition. That's going to help you out of a financial jam. It could be that this Five of Pentacles is kind of a natural cycle of like, you know, we have fat years and lean years. Okay, we might be in a little bit of a cycle of leanness. I think we're coming to a close on that. Okay, I think especially with that World card, we're getting to the end of that sort of leanness here. Okay, the Five of Discs, yeah, it is some emotional, or it's an emotional strain that's caused by something in the physical environment. So a financial kind of strain. Stay practical. Ask for help. Find ways to kind of lighten the load. See what you can do to, again, close out the month on budget. So if you can control something or minimize something, or if we can sort of slow the spending down so that when the month does close, we're going to be like right on the money, you know? But focus on what you can control. Maybe this is health and well-being. You can certainly control your mindset, okay? Maybe take the small steps that we need to take right now and as the month finishes out. Let's be as proactive as we can. Another kind of card that's telling me to take care of your body. Stay warm, keep your belly full, get enough rest, okay? But don't overdo it. You know, it doesn't have to be all exaggerated, okay? Show gratitude for the small blessings, yeah. I think that we're getting out of some sort of a hole, financially, maybe physically. This could be that we've been feeling a little physically under the weather, as a lot of us have been. And I kind of feel like we're at the tail end of that. So I feel like financially and physically, we're headed in the right direction. We just keep taking these very small and careful steps, and we'll be out of the woods. Okay? And I think that's a very, very good thing. I think we're already ready for that. And it may just be part of the natural cycles, that lunar magic, you know? And for those of you that do follow the lunar cycles, okay, I feel like the next new moon is going to be very important for you. We have a Six of Cups in the background, and this is love, all right? This is community. This is sharing. I feel that a lot of you have a very strong support system behind you. Okay. The Six of Cups, to me, it could be some nostalgia. Okay, it could be, you know, kind of some memories from the past that are kind of keeping you going, like knowing why you're doing what you're doing, remembering what truly matters to you. For some of you, this card could be about a connection, a reconnecting with an old friend or even a family member. But I feel like it's generally this idea that you have a really strong community behind you. Whether it's an online community, whether it's the Dove and Serpent community, whether it's your family, your friends, or literally like your neighborhood and your local community. I feel like you've got a lot of support behind you, okay? So this would be a very good time for you to acknowledge that and use that as momentum, as sort of a very positive influence. And right now it might be a good time for you to even like do something that reminds you of your childhood. in a positive way, obviously, right? Do something that brings some joy into your life, that kind of like connects you with your history, okay? Let kindness lead you right now. Generosity is attracting more blessings. And it's kind of like, I don't know, I come from California, right? And we didn't have a lot of money as kids, and I never earned a lot of money in my life. But I always found that it was the people who had the least that were always more generous with what they had, you know? Like, it was always my friends that, like, they didn't come from money, didn't have a lot going on, but it was always their family, their parents that would say, come have dinner with us, come share this with us, you know? And it'd always be the people, I feel like, the people that don't have much that tend to be the most generous. So even like tipping in a restaurant, or giving money to somebody on the street that might be asking for some money for some food, that sort of thing. And I feel like in a position right now, like, let that generosity flow, because I feel like it's going to come back to you. I feel like it's going to attract more blessings into your life, okay? Bring some warmth and some playfulness into your daily life if you can. Clear away any emotional clutter. As the month closes out, we want to wrap things up, okay? Wrap up any kind of emotional thing or any kind of old emotional energy. Forgive and forget, water under the bridge, okay? Let's focus on healing and progress and moving forward, and focus on joy, warmth, family, community, all that good stuff, okay? The World card is also a card of closure and wrapping things up that have been lingering or that have been, in need of completion. But it's also the magic that's flowing through you, because this is the world that you're creating, okay? Your efforts are paying off. I think a lot of you are reaching the end of a cycle or the end of a season. It could be the finish line for a lot of you. Now, of course, we know that the finish line is just the starting line of the next race, right? But I feel like that's going to be a very a celebratory moment, okay? Completing something, some kind of a milestone. You've earned this, okay? As we finish a certain cycle or a certain season, even as the month comes to a close, let's take a deep breath before we just rush into the next one. We need some time to just kind of relax and rest, okay? Wrap up any lingering projects with care, with diligence, with discipline, but let's get them done, Plan something for the next season or next cycle or next month, or even, the beginning of November. Could be a trip, could be an event. It could be a symbolic ritual that will mark the change, okay? And maybe you're planning kind of a new moon ritual or something like that, okay? Because that's going to kick off the new cycle for you. Most of all, acknowledge your progress. Even if your larger dream is not done yet, take a look around and acknowledge how far you've already come. Other people can see it. I can see it here. I think you need to recognize it too. Okay? Consider teaching or mentoring or sharing your knowledge in some way as a way to sort of, to pay it forward almost, This is a very, very, very good card. Yeah. I think also for a lot of you, this is the realization that this magic is flowing through. It kind of feels like anything that you're doing has the potential to really be like maximum, to be like the most profitable it could ever be. Okay? I think that's really what we want, what we need right now. So let's be sure that we're following through with what we're doing, and we're completing our tasks, and we're keeping the ball rolling, because there's no limit here. This is saying all restrictions are being kind of taken off of you. There's infinite potential out there for blessings and for abundance and for profit. Your emperor has to be a fortified ego to know how to navigate and take advantage of these infinite possibilities. Space is infinite, right? But we still need a vessel to travel through that infinite space. All right. And that vessel just happens to be your chariot. This is you picking a direction and committing to it. There's no second guessing. I feel like you know where you're headed in life. You've been channeling a lot of emotional energy, even like frustrations and things like that. Seems like they've been sublimated, into progress. I think that this is also, the chariot here is kind of making me feel like you're setting some kind of a goal for your fitness or your physical health, okay? Because I think that I'm kind of getting this. I'm getting this feeling that you've been pushing yourself very hard, and you kind of need to be nice to your body and pay attention to that and listen to it and give it the kind of rest or the kind of just the kind of restoration that it needs. So have one goal for your fitness as we head into the end of the month and into next month. Whatever it might be. It might be just a goal of saying, I'll drink more water. Maybe be a little specific. But do that. Okay, I think that's going to go a long way for you. Don't try to multitask too much, or if you do, make sure that you're finishing the things that you start. Okay, multitasking is good as long as all of those tasks are aiming toward the same goal, and that we're actually following up and finishing up those tasks. If any of you are getting an invitation to travel, or an opportunity to travel, maybe take it. Yeah, say yes. Okay, even if it's a short trip, maybe just it's going to clear the mind. Maybe it's just like you have the opportunity to ride with somebody to the store. Yeah, go do it. Okay. Keep your cool if there's any kind of challenges that arise right now. I feel like there might be something coming along at the last minute that's going to kind of test you or try to rattle you. Keep your cool. Stay confident, stay in motion. Don't get distracted, or don't let your month get derailed by something at the last minute. Okay, now, we've got the Ace of Wands here. As much as we're talking about finishing up tasks, there's also this idea of getting ready to start a new task. Getting ready to start a new project or a new enterprise or feeling a new inspiration. It's like saying, yeah, you got this, Ace of Wands. Your fire's being lit up. Something is calling to you. Like there's this good idea, there's this light bulb moment, there's this inspiration. Something's going to excite you. Finish out the month first, finish out the old stuff, reach the conclusions, tie up the loose ends, finish the tasks, and then you can devote, now I got time for you, Ace of Wands. Now it's just me and you. Now there's nothing else for me to do but expand on this. Okay? This is that spark. Right now you kind of you got to chamber the spark. Maybe don't put the spark in your jacket. It's probably a flammable jacket. You got to chamber the coals. You got to take that idea, you got to say, okay, I'm going to say yes to this. As soon as I finish up these things that are lingering, then I got all the time for you, right? And so it's something that is exciting you. It's something that you are, as soon as you begin, it's going to start flowing through you. This is the magic. This is that magic flowing through you. Your Ace of Wands is going to go all the way through, and it's going to change something in your world. It's going to manifest. This is the ultimate fire to earth electrical circuit of manifestation. Okay? You don't have to wait for confidence. You don't have to wait for certainty. You don't have to wait for a plan. You should finish up all the stuff you've already started before we take advantage of this thing. But this might be part of your multitasking, so just be aware of, when you start this thing, are there things that are going to be left unfinished if you start this? If this is a new enterprise or a new project, it's going to be something that you feel excited about. It's like you have either a natural interest in it, you're already kind of sort of naturally talented, or you already have an inclination toward it, or you already know some things about it. Like it feels natural. Okay? That's going to make it more successful. Okay, if this is a business idea or some kind of project, this could be very, very successful. Again, I'm getting that message. Clean your workspace or your schedule. Finish things up. Maybe cleaning out that workspace is so that you can get ready to devote some time to this. Make room for this creation. This is the magic that's going to flow through you. Okay? It's your compass. Your enthusiasm, your excitement, that's going to point you in the right direction. And then when you do that, it has a higher likelihood of being successful because it feels right, because it's something that you're interested in. You know, so you're going to be able to go through all the difficulty of manifesting it because you care about it, because you like it, because you have some natural interest in it. It's not going to bore you, even if it's going to be difficult, right? So it's you're going to try something bold, and even if it's a small thing, it's going to be very worthwhile. This is energy that wants expression. Doesn't have to be perfect. Doesn't have to be refined. It's just kind of just like, it's just a spark, and we're going to feed it, and we're going to see what happens to it, you know? This is going to be very good. But again, I think that it's important that you understand what it's going to require and how much of your time it's going to ask for, and whether you should wrap up some other things first before giving. Like, are you going to be able to give this the attention that it deserves? Okay? And if not, well, then maybe you wrap some things up so that you can really do this thing justice. Yeah, because really you're gonna want to devote a lot of time to it, whatever it's going to be. And it may be something that's going to earn some money and really turn into something, fruitful for you. We have a King of Swords here as well. And the King of Swords is a very good leader. It's very, very logical. Okay, it's a fixed air energy. And so it has a very, almost a dry way of communicating, you know? Not very emotional. It's strategic. It is making decisions based on data, based on facts. It's kind of, there's information, and that information means something, okay? In your communication, it's a good time to be fair and be authoritative. Don't always offer advice. Don't always tell people what you're feeling. Sometimes your silence can be very powerful, or even with the, again, kind of the low volume, like the whisper. It's going to make people really wonder why you're whispering, you know. Plan for the long term. Start thinking about next month and the month after. Start thinking about next year, okay? Start getting some ideas. Start kind of thinking like, what are we going to do? How's it going to go? What are some things I want to accomplish? And what's the road kind of look like? What's my forecast? Get your forecast for the year. I'll be doing next year's readings pretty soon. Before you know it, I'll be doing like the reading for 2026 already. It's crazy. You don't want to be overwhelmed by your emotions right now. I think that we don't have a lot of water in the reading anyway. I think that you have the Six of Cups, you have love, you have support, you have family, you have community. When it comes to making your decisions and making your projections for the next month and the next year, you're doing so detached from the emotions. Sometimes this is a cold card because it's very logical. Doesn't have a lot of emotionality. When we're making big choices, when we're making big plans, trying to keep our emotions out of it. The emotions maybe are a piece of data. Okay, that's going to be important. Using your logic to lead yourself and to lead others. Clarity and composure when you're finishing out this month especially. Okay, let's not get overwhelmed. Let's not get too into our feelings right now. We still got some business to take care of as October winds to a close. Okay. King of Wands is a fixed fire energy. So I think that, you're somebody that can sustain your interest and your enthusiasm and your effort for a long period of time. Okay? Because this isn't the excitement of the beginning, and this isn't the proud, excited relief of the ending. It is the long, difficult middle. Okay, and this reading is it's just about the middle of the month. I guess it's more towards the end of the month, but close enough. Taking charge of your goals. Okay? No one's going to do that for you. You have to understand the cruise control, the long term, and you have to be able to sustain your effort. That's why you need the physical healing, health, and restoration, the rest, the water, the food. You got to have the physical goals because you got to take care of the vessel, because this is, no one's going to do this for you, right? You have to be a very, sort of efficient transmitter of that magic. It's flowing through you, right? Communicate your vision clearly right now. Motivate others to join in. Handle any challenges with strategy and logic, not emotion. Maybe even this idea of mentoring someone. I feel like you're sharing something with other people. You have a real ability right now to train like an apprentice, to train like an assistant or someone that's like even like an intern or something like that, right? That's kind of going to learn the ropes from you and is eventually going to really be an asset to you. I don't know if you're a business owner or an entrepreneur or something like that, or even just an artist. Kind of teaching what you know to somebody else, right? It might be a good idea for you to consider that. If not now, then maybe in the future sometime. This is again suggesting long-term plans rather than just reacting to short-term stuff, thinking how can I take this magic and how can I extend it out into the future. This is again the cruise control. How can I set something up so I can stay motivated for the long term and it doesn't just fizzle out right away, okay? Again, leading through example, this is kind of like you're the CEO of your own life right now, okay? And you're taking charge. And you're thinking the CEO can't just think about the day-to-day operations, right? That's what the COO, right? The CEO has to think of like the long-term direction of the company, like where we're actually headed, not just the day-to-day stuff, but the big picture stuff, Very interesting that we have a Ten of Swords here. I kind of feel like the Ten of Swords might be talking about, okay, the last 10 days of October, it's time to finish things up and wind things down. It's time to, I kind of feel like we're going to be like sliding into home plate, really exhausted by the end of the month. I feel like there's still a lot to do, and maybe you're feeling like there's a lot to do and not a lot of time to do it. So it may be that you're experiencing a little bit of overwhelm, just with like how much there is still to be done and like there's not much time to do it, like the month is almost over. I feel like this is us acknowledging the closure of the month and maybe this idea that we can't finish everything that we wanted to, but we're going to do our very best to make things as like right on the money as possible. Okay, for some of you, something painful is kind of ending. I think that's a good thing, because it kind of is like we're getting out of a bird cage. It's kind of like we're recognizing something as like, I've squeezed all I could out of that, and now I can let it go, okay? Definitely don't reopen any doors that have already been closed for a good reason. Don't open any new cans of worms. Don't open up anything from the past. Don't revisit anything that's already done and over with, because you don't have time for that right now, okay? Rest. Toward the end of the month, rest before we begin the next cycle or we kick off the next season of our lives, okay? Exhaustion kind of makes everything feel worse, Maybe these aren't a bunch of swords in your back. Maybe these are just like, maybe these are just toothpicks resting on your arm, They're toothpicks in your hand rather than swords in your back. And I think when we're really exhausted, when we're overwhelmed mentally, physically, everything's going to seem a lot worse than it is, okay? Release anything that you can release right now. Learn any kind of lessons and then be done. Clear out old emails, get rid of old photos, kind of close the books on the month, and seal it up and let it go and kind of clean your plate for the next month. Clear off your desk, and clean the slate for the next month. Okay. Anyway, let's look at the mystery card. I don't know what it's going to be. I think it's got to be maybe some water or pentacles, I guess. Either cups or pentacles. Let's see. 3 of Swords. Yeah. All right. So, yeah, there is something from the past that's kind of like taunting you or tempting you to open it back up again. Don't do it. If something ended for you in October, keep it there. Keep it ended. File it away with the rest of October's business paperwork and just be done. You know, put it in the file cabinet, shut the drawer. You know, there may be some old pain that's resurfacing. You don't suppress it, but also don't repeat it again. Don't open up the wounds. Don't go down that rabbit hole. All right. Releasing anything from this month. Maybe this month was a very challenging month. Okay. So acknowledging that, having a good cry and letting it go. Maybe talking about it. Taking care of yourself, allowing ourselves the good food, the good rest, the good company, so we can finish this out, okay? A good time for journaling, yeah. Writing down, kind of like the log, like almost like a captain's log. Remember, the emperor is not the captain, but the pilot. Maybe this is kind of the pilot's log or the captain's log for your journey. And just write down what you experienced for October. What was this month like for you? What were your wins? What were your losses? What were the joys? What were the sorrows? As a way of closing out the month, experiencing closure. And maybe it's not about the monthly cycle for you. Maybe this is just a particular season. It doesn't have to be tied to our, human calendar. But maybe journaling about an experience is going to help you to process it, the good and the bad of it. Maybe it's an old relationship or something like that, a family thing. Maybe it's something that did happen recently, or could it be from the past, distant past. Write it down, the good parts and the bad parts. All right? Anyway, click on the join button to follow us over to the extended reading. We're going to do an I Ching hexagram. We're going to do oracle cards. We'll clarify love and money, and we'll do the yes/no coin. Aries, I thank you, I love you, and we're all in this together.